The bizarre world you met in Planet of the Apes was only the beginning. What lies beneath may be the end. After the overwhelming success of Planet of the Apes, they decided to slash the budget and make a sequel. This is Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And after 4 minutes of recapping the original's ending, and another minute of opening credits, man, spaceships keep crashing into Earth. This is Brent, our new main character, played by James Franciscus. He tries healing the only other survivor, and they start talking about stuff, including that it's 3955. Ah, so this is a prequel, because this takes place 23 years before the first movie. No, it doesn't, they just screwed up. But then the other guy dies after Brent tries making him breathe through a friendship ball. But then Nova shows up on horseback, minus Taylor. Brent knows this because Nova's wearing Taylor's dog tags. Then Nova has a flashback to what happened to Taylor, where they were attacked by shitty effects. And then more shitty effects. And then a kind of good effect. But then Taylor fell through a green screen. And because Nova can't talk, that was pointless. So Brent tries getting her to take him to Taylor, just for her to screw up and take him back to Ape City. Well, it's been a while, so probably calm down and...
The only good human is a dead human!
Or it's CPAC. This is General Ursus. He wants to declare war on humanity and invade the Forbidden Zone. But even Dr. Zaius is like, this is stupid. Zero and Cornelius actually agree with Zaius. And oof, you can tell the budget because some of the masks look good and some of them look like they got them from a Halloween store. But then Brand and Nova are discovered by a trigger-happy gorilla. So they comedically sneak into Cornelius and Zero's house and it turns into a sitcom for a while. Until they finally discover them. Cornelius is played by David Watson instead of Roddy McDowall in this movie, and only this movie. He does a good job replacing him, but it's definitely noticeable. Not like physically, because of course it's the same mask, but you can tell from the acting. But oh no, Dr. Zaius is gonna visit. Gotta hide the humans. And I guess he got over branding these people as heretics.
Cornelius hit me. Huh? For my bad behavior at the meeting. I don't blame him.
Damn it, 70s. So Cornelius and Zero give Brand a new outfit so he can blend in. Just for him to be immediately caught by the gorillas. And they're gonna use him as target practice. But Zero unlocks the cage before they leave. Then we have an epic escape with no music. Then Brent and Nova go into a cave where they find the Queensboro Plaza. They're on Earth. And then they play red light, green light with a weird noise. Meanwhile, Zaius and the gorillas are going into the Forbidden Zone. Then a peaceful anti-war protest is broken up violently by the military. And then Brent and Nova walk around some familiar landmarks that I guess caved in. And they find a dirty fountain. Nova likes it. But Brent starts strangling her and drowning her in it. But it turns out that he's getting forced to do it. So he goes into St. Patrick's Cathedral, and he finds someone praying to an Alpha and Omega nuke. And it turns out that he's human, and brings him in front of the Council of Psychic Humans. They try telepathically figuring out who Brent is, but when that doesn't work, they decide to torture him and Nova. Meanwhile, the gorillas are marching until they find a bunch of crucified, burning gorillas. And their god, the lawgiver. And whoa, it's bleeding like this is a Slayer cover. And then Dr. Zaius, of all people, says this is superstitious. And he rides in, and yep, it's an illusion. Then we have just 2 minutes of praying. So I guess pray whoever you believe in at the moment. I am burdened with glorious purpose. But in plot twist, they're not just humans with psychic powers. They're also skinless humans with psychic powers. And then we have another minute and a half of praying to a nuke. And then they throw Brent into the slammer. And then, oh my god, they actually have Taylor in the movie in the last 15 minutes. And he's wearing something completely different. Because Brent looks just like Taylor, and if they were both in rags, then we wouldn't tell them apart. And then one of the mutants says they're pacifist, but they like making their enemies fight each other. To the death. Which kind of sounds hypocritical, but whatever. So Brent and Taylor are forced to fight. Again, no music. But Nova sees this and says her first word, Taylor. Which distracts the guy. So then the other guys decide to attack him and impale him on the oddly spiky door. Just for him to awkwardly accidentally lock all of them in there. Oh, and also this mutant's name is Ungaro. But in the credits, they call him Nee. Oh, 70s and your casual racism. And then they discuss that the nuke might ignite the atmosphere. Which was a real concern. In the 40s, when they were first testing nukes. And clearly it didn't do that, which is why we're not all dead. Or a civilization of people in leather driving around Harley Davidson, shooting people for gas and worshipping water. But we're getting there. Speaking about getting there, the gorillas finally discovered a cave and don't care at all about all this human shit they find underneath. Even though that was a plot point in the last film. They just mow through the mutants, who don't even try to force the gorillas to fight each other, as the humans break out and arm up with clubs, but don't give Nova a club. Oh, she got shot. Then they break into St. Patrick's. The mutants trying to arm the nuke, but because he's referring to it as a god, the gorillas don't like that because they have their own, so they try killing the god. Which leads us into our epic climax, with no music. All the important characters except Zaius is shot, and Charlton Heston, who didn't even want to be in the movie, makes it so that there won't be any more movies, so he detonates the nuke. Killing fucking everyone! And yes, they do say it ignites the atmosphere, which in reality would only blow up the underground here and highly irradiate the area, but the planet would be fine. It's not the Death Star. But anyways, that was Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And it was a mixed bag. On one hand, the acting's great, the sets are beautiful. I like how many apes we get to see in this film. And at least the story's original. But the mutants are hypocrites who are pacifists but force their will on others. The lack of music in the film. Cornelius and Zira are wasted. Brent's basically a blank slate and might as well have just been Taylor with a new actor. I think the ending's way too bleak. If I would have done it different, it probably would have just been the story of Taylor, now played by James Franciscus, and Nova walking around the Forbidden Zone when they're scared by bad effects and then are forced underground where they come across the mutants and they're like sympathetic. They try like scaring people away. They don't force their will on people, as the gorillas are declaring war on humanity and trying to genocide them. Now it's up to Taylor and Nova to teach the mutants to fight for themselves and fight against the gorillas. And they team up with the chimpanzees because hashtag not all apes. And they create a society where humans and apes are equal. But you know, whatever. If you really, really have to get the full story and you really, really like the original, then I probably would say watch it, but otherwise stay away.